Hi everyone, and welcome back to Stamp with Anna. Today I'm going to show you a third card using the new Painted Harvest stamp set, which is in the current holiday catalog. And at first glance, the stamp set looks like it's appropriate for fall and Thanksgiving and things like that. And it is. It's a perfect stamp set for that. But I'm going to show you a third way to use this that's not Thanksgiving. So on Monday, I made this customer thank you card, and I used Sahara Sand and Pacific Point, and I didn't use the leaves, and it's a very simple thank you card. On Wednesday, I did use Go Traditional, and I made this thank you card that I did give someone for Thanksgiving, and I used Always Artichoke and the Cajun Craze, and it has the fall colors to it. Today, I'm going to use it as a Christmas stamp set and make this Christmas card. The flower I'm using it as my wreath, and I'm just using the little dots that go in the inside of the what would be the flower, like this one here. I'm using that for the berries on my wreath. So, and I'm going to make my own embossed silver paper in the back. I didn't have any. I know that the holiday catalog has some really nice foil papers, but I didn't have any, and I wanted to go with a stripe, so I decided to make my own. Now there is a paper stack that's also in the holiday catalog called Be Merry that does have a red and white striped piece of paper, and I liked it, but it wasn't the look I wanted. I wanted to go with shimmer, shine, and glimmer. And I used the red glimmer paper to do my J and my Y, and I thought that that picked up nicely on the gold embossed stripes as well as the gold bow. And then, of course, I used a little wink of Stella in the berries on my leaf. So let's get started on how I made this. The card base is real red, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then the piece that has the embossing is Whisper White, and that is 5 1/4 by 4. Then I have another piece of real red, and this is 3 1/8 by 4 5/8. And another small piece of Whisper White, which is 3 by 4 1/2. And then I just need a little scrap of the red glimmer paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my background. And to do that, I'm using the diagonal stripe set. This is a big background stamp, which I love. And I'm going to use, I just want to grab a piece of scrap here. I'm going to use the Versamark ink, and because it's a big stamp set, I like to bring my stamp pad to my stamp. I find it easier to handle that way, and I feel like I can control it a little better. So it's all inked up. And I'm going to take my paper, and again, I'm going to bring my paper to my stamp, not my stamp to my paper, because I can decide exactly where this goes. Make sure it's nice and straight. Okay? Then I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to rub, especially along the edges, to make sure that it is nice and even, and I'm going to get a good image here. And because I can't find my pokey tool, I'm going to use this little nail file. And I'm going to lift this up. And there is my embossed stripes. Now you'll see I use a pair of tweezers because this is embossed everywhere, and I don't want to mess up my my embossing. So I'm going to hold this with my tweezers, and then I'm going to come in with my gold embossing powder. And I'm going to sprinkle this liberally. All over. And I'm going to lean it on its side. Now when you are embossing such a large space, it is a little tricky. You do want to be careful that you don't touch where you've put your ink and your embossing powder. And if you're using tweezers like I am here, that your tweezers aren't knocking off your stamp or your powder either. Okay, so I think that looks good. Just gonna brush this little piece right here off. And if I think this needs to be redipped, right there on that spot. Okay, I'll leave that alone and put all my gold embossing powder away. Now I'm just going to emboss this. And again, the only thing I can tell you, because it's such a large spot, a large piece, just be really careful of where you place your fingers. So again, I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to put them right here on this white stripe. And make sure that they don't move. And I'm going to bring in my heat gun. And I'm going to start embossing. And I'm not going to emboss the whole thing with you on camera, because that would be like watching paint dry. So I'm just going to get a little bit started. And you can see how nice it's going to look. And I'm going to do it sequentially. I'm going to go back and forth. And because my heat gun is heated up from the last card I made, this heat gun holds its heat, and it stays nice and hot so that the next project will move along smoothly. So I'm going to go off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, my embossing is all done. Isn't that pretty? It's a shame that it's going to be covered up, but that's part of the design. So I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to bring in my Pierce mat because I am going to be stamping with photopolymer. I'm going to bring in my piece of Whisper White. Now I'm going to make my wreath. The background stamp I'm going to use is Pierre Pizzazz. The background ink, I should say, is Pierre Pizzazz. And I'm going to line that up and put it right in the center of my card so that I know I'm going to have room for the J and the Y on either side. Okay, I'm going to give that a good press. And then I'm going to make the outer part of the wreath using Old Olive. It's a tad bit darker than the Pierre Pizzazz. I'm going to line that up. And press. And isn't that pretty? All right. Now I'm going to take some real red, and I'm going to make my holly berries, stamp my holly berries. I'm going to use the, oh, my stamp is filthy. I'm going to use the stamp that has the little dots on it. And I'm just going to move this around, randomly go around, and put these on. Okay, that's all my stamping. I'm going to come in with my Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to touch these holly berries with the tip. And again, I know Wink of Stella doesn't show up nicely or at all on video, but in real life you can see it, and it really does look so pretty. All right, stamping is done. I'm going to set this aside. Now I'm going to take my scrap of red glimmer paper, and using the large letters framelits dies, which I've had these for a while, and now I'm just really starting to use them so much. It seems like I use them a lot on my cards. And I'm a scrapbooker, so I use them a lot to make titles on my scrapbook pages. So I'm going to go run these through the Big Shot, and I'll be right back. Okay, here are my letters. I'm going to take these out. Now, although we started out with a scrap piece of paper, and this is what we have left, do not throw this away. If you have a tiny little heart punch, this was in a trio pack that Stampin' Up! Had a long time ago. I think it was the heart, the star, and this flower type thing. They retired, but I kept them because I loved it. When I'm getting ready to make my Valentine's Day cards, look at how many little hearts I can punch out from what I would have otherwise just tossed. I'm just going to use and make a bunch of little hearts, and I'm all set for my Valentine's Day card. So don't ever throw away your little scraps of glimmer paper, excuse me. Okay, that said, we're going to now attach the J and the Y on our card. And to do that, I'm going to use a glue pen. Not that one, though. Oh, here it is. Going to add a little bit of glue on the back of my J and the Y. Now there is room around this wreath and the letters, so you could certainly cut this smaller, this white piece smaller, but I wanted it to be a little bit bigger. Make sure I have that lined up nice. Okay, and now I'm just going to attach this to, I'm going to mat that on this piece of real red. And it is a tiny little mat. I didn't want it to be too wide of a mat. I just wanted a glimmer, a tiny little border. Just a tad right there. Okay. And now I'm going to attach this one to my card base. And this one to that. Okay, now using the metallic 1/8 inch gold ribbon, I made myself a double bow. And I'm going to attach that with a glue dot. Right here in the center of my wreath, the bottom center of my wreath. And now I'm going to just trim the tails. And we're finished. Isn't that a pretty Christmas card? And I really do like the shimmer of it. So, again, there is the third card using the Painted Harvest stamp set. And again, you can use it, you can make this card in pinks, in purples, in yellows. You can make it in any color. And so it's not really just a fall card. And then here it is as a fall card using the leaves as well. And here it is totally out of its element using it as a Christmas card. So I hope you enjoyed the 3 projects that I posted this week using this Painted Harvest stamp set. And I might add that it is part of a bundle and it comes with the leaf punch. So if you have any questions about this project or if I can help you with any of the products, certainly contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And although it is almost the end of November, the holiday catalog is valid through January the 2nd. And if you don't have a demonstrator and you don't have a holiday catalog, I'd be happy to send you one in the mail. Just shoot me a message and I'll drop it right in the mail to you. And you can get what you need, if not for this year, for next year. So thanks so much, and I'll catch you back here next week. Bye-bye.